Hi, I'm Mark at the Caravan place, and today we're looking at single axle or twin axle. What should you buy? Should you go for a single? Should you go for a twin axle? What's the difference? What's better either way? And it's all down to you really at the end of the day. You've got to think about storage. If you're going to be going for a twin axle, have you got the length to store a twin axle? Because the reason for it being on a twin axle is it's longer. So it's about 26 foot most twin axles overall. So you've got to think about, have I got the space to be able to store that? Have I got the manoeuvrability to manoeuvre that around? Or most single axles maximum about 24 foot. So there's a size difference there looking between the two. Again, there's going to be a weight difference. Majority of twin axles are going to be heavier obviously than a single axle because it's bigger. So that could come down to your car, what your car can tow. Some of the Sprite twin axles are good weight. Some of the Lunar twin axles are of good weight as well, and you might find that some single axles are as heavy, if not heavier, than some of the twin axles, so that might not come into it. So what's the main benefits between having a single and a twin axle, and what are the disadvantages? Well, a single axle, you've only got one wheel either side, so when you come to manoeuvre it should be lighter, it should be easier to manoeuvre. If you've got a motor mover, you're not going to have a problem with manoeuvring. It will turn on a sixpence on its axis. It's going to spin round. It's not going to have another set of wheels fighting like it does with a twin axle. So it then boils down to, do you need the extra space of a twin axle, or can you get away with a single axle? Majority of the layouts are the same, so if you look at majority of the twin axle layouts, they are similar if not the same as a single axle version. It's just extended. You've just got a bigger washroom, a bigger seating area at the front. So personally, we love twin axles. We don't find any issue with manoeuvring the twin axles around, but that's easy for us because we're pretty decent at reversing. I can actually reverse a twin axle easier than I can reverse a single axle because it's longer, it moves slower, it's got two sets of wheels so they fight each other as it's turning, so it doesn't just snake around like a single axle's going to. So it's again horses for courses. We really like a twin axle. It just gives us that more space. There's only three of us, but it just gives that extra bit of space, and we like to be sort of away from each other. But if it's the case that you're going to store it on the drive and you've got to turn it tight, twin axle's not going to turn tightly. As I say there with the reversing, when you come to actually reverse it, both the front and the back set of wheels are going to fight each other, so it's not going to turn as quickly, it's going to turn slower, which is why it's actually easier to reverse a twin axle than it is a single axle. Motor movers, you can go for motor movers and you can get a four-wheel drive or a two-wheel drive motor mover. Two-wheel drive motor mover is basically on either the front or the back set of wheels, and it's not going to turn, not anywhere near as easy as a single axle is. So with the twin axle, you're going to have to help it round. If it's a single set of movers, you're going to have to use the grab handles or sometimes even the front hitch just to try and actually get it round. If you go for a four-wheel drive set of movers, that is going to turn a little bit easier, but again it's not going to turn anywhere near as easily as a single axle will. A single axle, you'll get that into pretty much anywhere on a motor mover, or even pushing it around, and a lot smaller space, where your twin axle, it is going to need a lot more room to be able to manoeuvre. So that's the things that you're going to have to look at really. Twin axle is going to probably tow a little bit better on the road than a single axle, and the reason that I say probably, if you're going for a newer van and if it's a single axle and you've got the Alco ATC, you've got the stabilised hitch head, you've loaded the Caravan correctly so you've not put too much weight up the back, and you've kept all your heavy weight over the axle and towards the front, A single axle can tow really well with those three things, as I say, loaded correctly, Alco ATC, and a stabilised hitch head, one of the Alco or the Windhoff stabilised hitch heads. A lot of the newer vans now, they're single axles, they're towing as well as a twin axle, but a lot of people still like the twin axle because it's not gonna go anywhere. Again, if you've got ATC, stabilised hitch head and twin axle, that is an absolute perfect rig. It's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to manoeuvre, you're not going to feel the lorries as you're taking it. If you're passing a lorry or whatever, you're not going to feel it swaying as much. You'll still get a slight bit, but a twin will tow an awful lot better in that respect. So it is really down to you. We had a customer just recently that we're looking at, they'd looked at buying a twin axle. We then got an email and says, oh, actually our car can't tow the twin axle because it's too long. The Caravan is too long, and we can't tow that car with our car. And I was like, I've not heard of that. I've not heard that a car can only tow a certain length of Caravan. But what they actually meant was they'd read on the internet that you couldn't tow a vehicle or a caravan or a trailer over 7 metres. Now a lot of these are getting on just under 8 metres, 7.9, 7.8 metres from very, very front to very, very back. So they misinterpreted the law that a caravan over 7 metres isn't legal to tow on the road. Well, actually that 7 metre rule is the body length, so that's going from the very back of the lights to the front of the bodywork. Now any UK twin axle is going to be just under that 7 metres. If you're looking at a German caravan, a hobby, LMC, anything of that nature, you may find that they are actually over 7 metres. Same as with a Bailey retreat. Any of the Bailey retreats, they're going to be over 7 metres body length, and you should actually be using a commercial vehicle to tow those. So just keep in mind, if you're looking at a German van that is over 7 metres body length, you're going to have to use a commercial vehicle to tow. But all UK caravans, you should be fine. You should be under that 7 metres body length, and you've not got to go for the commercial vehicle. A normal, as long as it's heavy enough to actually tow the caravan, you should be fine. So yeah, to sum up, single axle, if you're struggling for space, you've not got the size of the car to be able to tow a bigger van, or you don't need the actual space, you don't need the extra room, a single axle is going to do everything that you ever want it to do. If you do want to use it possibly more of a sighted van, or you want to put it onto a pitch and leave it there for the summer, all day long I'd go for a twin axle. Even if you're going to tour around with it a little bit, as long as you've got the car to be able to tow it. If there's not 4 of you to be able to manoeuvre it round, or you're not very good at reversing, go for a motormover, 4-wheel drive motormover, and that pretty much sums up the differences between twin axle and single axle. If there's anything that you want to ask us in the comments. If you like our videos, hit the subscribe button. We are trying to update as much as possible now, so we will keep new videos keep coming. If there's something that you want us to video in particular, let us know in the comments, and we'll see what we can do for you. Thanks for watching.